Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Aan Diana from class O3 SIGM01. First of all, I would like thanks to Miss Tutik Ratna Ningtyas as the lecturer of academic presentations. And on these occasions, I want to presentation one of linguistic studies, namely morphology, especially in the morpheme sections. In this slide, I have table of contents. The first is the background of the study, the second is the types of morphemes, and the last is conclusions. And we move to the first point. The first point is the background of the study. So the word of morphology comes from Greek. The morphs, it means the form, and ology, it means the study of something. So morphology as a sub-descriptive line of linguistics was named for the first time in 1859 by the German linguistic Carl Ziegler, who used the term for the study of the form of words. And a morpheme is a short segment of language that meets three basic criteria. And the first is it is a part of a word that has meaning. The second is it cannot be divided into smaller meaningful segments without changing the meaning. And the third is it has relatively the same stable meaning in different verbal environments. And the next slide is the types of morpheme. And the first type of morpheme is free morphemes. Free morpheme can stand alone with a specific meaning, and free morpheme are considered to be best word in linguistics. What we have described as a free morpheme fall into two categories. The first is lexical morpheme. The first category is that set of ordinary nouns, adjectives, and verbs that we think of as the words that carry the content of the message we convey. And some examples are girl, main, said, long, upon, follow, and many more. And the other types of free morpheme are called functional morpheme. These sets consist largely of the functional word in the language, such as conjunctions, prepositions, articles, and pronouns. And some examples are but, when, because, that, he, she, and many more. The second type of morpheme is a bound morpheme. A bound morpheme is a word element that cannot stand alone as a word. It means that bound morpheme must be attached to other morphemes. Bound morphemes are also called affixes, which can be prefixes, infixes, or suffixes. Bound morpheme can further be broken down into two categories. The first is derivational, and the second is inflectional morphemes. The first is derivational morphemes. Derivational morphemes are bound morphemes which derivate or create new words by either changing the meaning. For example, the addition of the derivational morpheme ness changes the adjective good to the noun goodness. And the second set of bound morpheme contains what are called inflectional morphemes that are not used to produce any words in the language, but rather to indicate aspect of the grammatical function of a word. For example, both old and older are adjective. And the last slide is the conclusions. The conclusion is armed with all test terms for different types of morpheme. We can now take the most sentences of English apart and with all the elements. For example, in the sentence, the child's wildness shocked the teachers, we can identify 11 morphemes. So that's all enough for me. I'm very apologize if I have so many mistakes for making this video. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.